Now, question comes before us, who is going to issue this youth job card to the youths of the nation? With a view to issuing this job card, National Commission for Youth NCY may be established at the national level along with the state level office at the capital city. The purpose of National Commission for Youth would be twofold. A. It would issue job card to youths and it's updating and issuing new card if it is required. B. It would keep up-to-date data on employment, unemployment throughout the length and breadth of India. It would be a statutory organization. Its purpose would not be to provide employment to the youths, but it would remain a fair and independent body to watch the employment and unemployment scenario in the country. Now, we should come back to the issue of our present economy of less than $3 trillion and the main drivers of the economy, that is the youth of the country. Due to ongoing COVID-19 or coronavirus rising situation in our country, it would not be inappropriate to say that we first put a face mask on both the economy and the youths who are supposed to be drivers to steer our economy towards the cherished goal of $5 trillion economy. Otherwise, we would neither be able to save the existing economy nor be able to expand our economy so as to reach near the 5 trillion economy. Therefore, putting a face mask to each and every citizen is the need of the hour. How to do that? To put a face mask on the face of every citizen is a Herculean job. It cannot be accomplished by any government, or even if it is quite difficult, if local government, state government and union government come together to resolve the issue. Until and unless common people are involved in this endeavor. With this general awareness of use of face masks and its practice, we have to move ahead to protect each and every citizen working in government offices and establishments, to factory workers, laborers engaged in construction works, infrastructure activities, roads, ports, airports, and last but not the least, agriculture workers, plantation laborers, etc. Even after all those precautions just mentioned, it would not be inappropriate to ask ourselves why COVID-19 or coronavirus is coming back again and again. Not only virus has come back once again, it has come back with a greater intensity than the previous year. Therefore, if every year coronavirus come back with a greater intensity than the previous year, then neither will be able to protect our existing economy nor will be able to expand our economy to the desired level. Hence, people and economy both would be affected drastically. Therefore, we would be serious about the origin of virus and act accordingly. In this context, we should accept the challenge of health issue for the citizen in general. and accordingly move ahead to completely overhaul our existing public health service, beginning with Public Health Center PHC, working for a group of villages, or public health center at the block headquarters, such that no villager need not to go to subdivision hospital or district hospital or a big city hospital for his heart treatment except under rare cases. Let us go back to the issue of economy proper. After covering the periphery issues involving safety and security of people in general, we should not forget the moment of opening up our economy to the West under the banner of so-called liberalization and globalization in the year of 1991. Since then, so many changes have been made and still being made to adjust our economy with the requirements of the global economy. Now, the time has come in the midst of crisis of COVID-19 to open up a new chapter of industrial revolution wherein we could develop and manufacture a host of new products with the domestic resources, that is raw material and components developed in-house. More specifically, products from the design to fabrication, building prototype to final production model may be conceived for each and every sector of the economy. For example, mobile phone, laptop and desktop, TV, fridge and other consumer durables, automobiles, engineering products, electrical goods, cruise ship, vessels for applying into the national waterways, two modern boats for ferrying passengers in the countless rivers within our country. All such products may be manufactured from the beginning, right from its design, fabrication and prototype to prepare a final model ready for mass production. The time frame for production of such manufactured goods would be 2 to 4 years from now onwards. Why it is right time to begin with the development of domestic products based on local resources or raw materials as well as local expertise? Due to the fact that this year we would see contraction of both exports and imports on account of rising coronavirus throughout India, this crisis would give us an opportunity to strengthen our domestic manufacturing base, to develop new products and at the same time provide opportunity to our software industry to complete its unfinished agenda of developing software to run domestically developed products. This will make our software industry complete in every respect, exporting software products to other countries and making software to run domestically developed products. Now the question comes before us: who is going to use all such products? This is for domestic consumption as well as exports to neighboring countries like Myanmar, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, Maldives, Afghanistan. Ultimately, this should result in expansion of our domestic economy to a great extent, to absorb the rising population of unemployed youths in the coming years, and that too in the face of shrinkages of external trade in this year specifically, and most probably in the next year also. Let us explain in detail how to execute this new format of industrial revolution, where India can develop and manufacture a host of products both in the field of consumer goods as well as industrial goods. General format for this new industrial revolution, or what we may call it Industrial Revolution version 2.0 would be like this. When a company would decide to develop and manufacture new product, for example, a mobile phone or a laptop or a desktop or altogether a new product which one can be used for dual purpose. For example, phone, tab or triple purpose, that is phone, tab and laptop. Once decided, phone for single use or double use or triple use, whatever it may be, company under the consideration should go first for designing the product in-house and fabricate the product and make a prototype of the same. While doing so, company would create an informal vendor base for the proposed product. Why informal vendor base? Because a product, say mobile phone, let us assume it requires 100 components to produce a mobile phone. The company in question would invite the prospective vendors to show the design of the new product made in-house and ask them whether they are interested to participate in this new venture through supplying components needed to manufacture the product shown to them. If they are ready to do so, they should come back once again with the components in hand. In this process, the entire components required for the new product would be available for the company and a prototype of the product would be made available for all to see. This process would be continued and several prototypes of the product would be prepared and ultimately prototype would be accepted as final. Now the participated component manufacturers, or what we call them as prospective vendors, would be required to produce the component and supply in regular interval to the prospective company or manufacturer who is supposed to produce the final product, say here a new mobile phone. Now the company or manufacturers who would be going to produce the new product, say here of a new mobile phone, and requires to build a new factory where there would be an assembly line to assemble all components supplied by the selected vendors. Side by side, prospective vendors would also require to build their own factories to produce components as agreed upon during their deliberation processes with the main company or manufacturer to whom they were agreed upon to supply required number, quantities of components and raw materials at regular interval. Here comes question of land parcels for the construction of main factory on behalf of company or manufacturers who would be going to produce the final product and the prospective vendors who would be producing components for the company. With the ever increasing population in India, where people are being forced to live near the periphery of jungle with the frequent visit of animals from the core area of jungle in search of food, giving rise to the issue of man-animal conflicts. Against this backdrop, it will be quite difficult to the stage of near impossibility of getting a big land parcel in many Indian states to establish an industry. With a view to overcome this issue, the present day industrialist should think of a new mode of doing business. That is, they should first create a vendor base for manufacturing a product. While creating a vendor base for a final product, they should first think of how many parts or components they themselves will produce, and then the rest of components and parts they are expecting to their prospective vendors will bring in to their main office for putting together to make a final product. If they think this way and find out small parcels of land available for manufacturing components and parts, there will not be any problem to get the same. Here we can offer an example to draw the attention to the prospective industrialists. There are about 7,084 blocks throughout the length and breadth of India. Now, they should go to the block headquarters to find out suitable small parcel of land where they can create a self-contained factory with the facilities of bank branch and food and vegetable mart, along with the residential quarters for staff and officer and a bungalow for chief officer. In such a scenario, they need not require a big land parcel for their main factory where they can just integrate all components and parts to make a final product. These non-concentrated distributed factories in different parts of India will reduce the overall cost of production and help to reduce urban concentration of economic activities with its associated complexities. With this new model of producing goods, industrialists should be given freedom to bring raw materials and components for their products from the neighboring countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Maldives, Afghanistan, if they so desire. Why so? Because industrialists, traders and businessmen understand much better politics and guess quickly the ground situation than even an official diplomat working in a foreign country, as they require to keep a close contact with the people to do the business. This is the general model of doing business, especially for manufacturing new product. Now, we need to say something for manufacturing special products, which are big in size and also highly based on technology. For example, manufacturing of cruise ship or vessels to modern boats. Here we have to allow enterprises falling under Navy, namely Mazgaon Dock Limited, Garden Beach Shipbuilders and Engineers, Goa Shipyard Limited and Hindustan Shipyard Limited. They may be advised by the government to create a civilian division for manufacturing of cruise ships or vessels to modern boats, right from their design, fabrication to prototype to final models ready for mass production. They may be allowed to go to market for raising necessary funds for starting civilian division for manufacturing and marketing products for civilian use. There will be huge demand for such products in our country within a span of 2 to 4 years from now, with the opening up of national waterways and of replacing country boats to ferry passengers in our countless rivers. Side by side, there will be huge demand for such products from our neighboring countries also. Further, there is another area where we should go for defense enterprise for production of helicopter for carrying passengers. especially for three types. A. 5 to 7 passenger carrying helicopter. B. 7 to 12 passenger carrying helicopter. C. 12 to 20 passenger carrying helicopter. For which there is a need to allow defense establishment like Hindustan Aeronautics Limited to open up civilian division to manufacture civilian helicopter right from its design, fabrication to prototype to final model ready for mass production. Why? There will be huge demand within India as India will see an industrial revolution within a span of 4 years from now. Such civilian helicopter will not only create a huge market for domestic use but also for use in the neighboring countries. This is in short our proposed model for industrial revolution. It may be considered as industrial revolution version 2.0. India is a country of 135 crore plus population with an equally huge number of youths coming out from colleges, universities, technical colleges, management institutions every year. Giving them jobs is a challenging task for any government, irrespective of state governments or union government. Only private enterprises cannot provide them employment to all youths searching for employment. With the private enterprises, we need public enterprises to come forward to absorb all the aspirants seeking employment. Of course, there is a need to initiate reforms in the public enterprise. We just give here a brief outline to initiate reforms in the public enterprise. First of all, the public enterprise should have its own business strategy, which is supposed to satisfy two basic objectives: A. Social, B. Profits or surplus. The second step is to introduce the concept of ownership into the public enterprise. Let's explain step by step. Step 1. The concept of ownership should be specified first in the public enterprises. We all know that if an enterprise is owned by the state government or a union government, then the very ownership will go to either respective state government or the union government. But the actual function of running the said enterprise goes to the top official along with many officers and staff of the organization. Therefore, if all the officers and staff headed by the chief officer of the enterprise work dedicatedly for the organization, we can definitely expect good prospect for the enterprise. Majority of such dedication comes from ownership. Whatever importance one gives upon one's personal belongings, whether one gives same importance to official matters, the difference is here of personal and non-personal. The notion goes like this: I am owner of this item or that item. Conversely, I am not owner of this item or that item. Step 2. With a view to inculcating the notion of ownership in each and every official, beginning with the lowest level official to the highest level in the public enterprise, each one should be given a token gift of a company share with the price of a face value. Side by side, a certain percentage of one's gross salary, say 10% or 15%, should be allowed to each and every official to purchase one's company share with the price of a face value during the entire lifetime of an official in an organization. No need to differentiate the said percentage once it is specified, because higher and higher level official would naturally earn more and more gross salary, so also eligible to get more and more shares at a face value. There is no shortcut in instilling the notion of ownership among the officials. Rather, it is a long drawn process. In this process, slowly but definitely, our public enterprises would undergo a radical change, getting reflected in the minds of people working there. Herein, the government of the day has to bring in a big picture for the future of public enterprise. Hence, the organization and the public enterprises should be allowed to emerge as a big group through diversification, like the private sector conglomerates, Tata Group, Birla Group, Goenka Group, Ambani Group, Adani Group, etc. Hence, we would like to see the future conglomerates in the field of public enterprise through diversification, like ONGC Group, BHEL Group, Coal India Group, Hindustan Aeronautic Limited Group, DRDO Group. Even after full expansion of private enterprises and public enterprises, it would not be possible to provide a situation of full employment to all youths seeking employment in urban and rural areas, for which we need to explore the cooperative society in a big way. Every activity in the rural area may be initiated successfully via a cooperative society of farmers. For example, cooperative bank, cooperative dairy milk, cooperative storage facility of grains, as well as cold chain for vegetables. Food processing enterprise managed by cooperative society, and last but not the least, retail and wholesale cooperative stores. Among all, cooperative bank comes as a vital entity because it can provide a source of funds to all other cooperative activities. Here we can refer to an important reform to regulate the cooperative bank in a state. In this context, a state level financial regulator may be established to regulate the cooperative banks as well as non-banking entities working in a state. This is a vital reform which will bring a sea change in the field of non-banking organization and cooperative banks at the state level. At the end, we can safely opine that with the help of reformed public enterprises, private enterprises and cooperative society managed banks, dairy business, granary cum cold storage chain, retail cum wholesale stores, we can open up a floodgates of opportunities before the youth to build his or her career. This will definitely lead to a situation where the economy would attain the condition of near full employment, if not full employment in practice. Here we can finish our write-up by telling famous message of Sri Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Deva, Jato mat tato path. That is, as many faiths, so many paths, or as many philosophies, so many ways. Therefore, we can expect a peaceful coexistence of capitalism, socialism, communism or any other ism in this land, who gave birth of so many thinkers, spiritual leaders, glorifying the concept of unity in diversity.